Hello all you freaking creeps out there. I wanted to do a different kind of video today because I saw idubbbz bringing the whole tier list thing to the mainstream. So after watching his video on tier list presidents and a video on tier list fast food joints, I thought it'd be fun to do a tier list on the most deadly cryptids that we've been discussing. Now you're not going to see all the cryptids that we talk about, but you're going to see 17 of our most popular ones. So we're going to go from S, extremely deadly, and would rip you to shreds in a heartbeat, or end your life so fast you wouldn't even know, to D. Basically taking the D at that point. So we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. The most deadly cryptid tier list. Let's begin. Alright, D would be things that have trouble killing you or just don't want to kill you, I would assume. So, let's look here. I'm gonna put Mothman at the bottom. I didn't have a very good image of Mothman. I don't think I've ever had a commissioned piece of artwork for Mothman, so this is just some random moth. He's gorgeous anyway, but Mothman, he's more of a warning kind of thing. I can't remember the word. He's an omen of things to come. Some may say that he causes things to happen, but I don't believe that. I think he's neither good nor bad, but he's not there to kill you. He's there to let you know things about to go down. Alright, moving on. Who else would be in D tier? Something else that has trouble killing anything at all. Maybe Dogman? I mean, he could kill you, but they don't really attack as much as I've seen in these stories. You guys are gonna think my reasoning is so arbitrary and dumb, but hey, this is just for fun. Let's see. Let's do Loch Ness Monster. He seems like a chill guy. Also, this is another monster I don't have a precise picture for. I've never done Loch Ness Monster stories, but it's a creepy fish dude. Close enough, right? So Loch Ness Monster is gonna go down there too because he's just chilling. He's just out there chilling in the water. He doesn't want to hurt nobody. Of course, if you are out there, you could get hurt, but I doubt he's gonna bite your torso in half. But let's move up to C because I think everything else on here is gonna be pretty fucky. I think this tier is reserved for the monsters that kind of want to just joke around with you, but they can definitely fuck up your business. Let's see. Goatman. Goatman is a prankster. He seems to enjoy just giving you the business. I don't hear a lot of stories where he actually attacks, but he's definitely a troll of the cryptid world. Besides Goatman, let's see. That's tricky. This is a tricky one. He may be on there alone, on the C tier by himself. I'm going to throw Krampus in there. Yeah, that's Krampus. Krampus, he's more of a legend that is sort of a cautionary tale that you tell the kids. If he does exist, and I've heard plenty of stories of people who claim to have seen him, he's just there to spook you good, make you learn a lesson, make you fill your stocking with brown coal. But I don't think he does a lot of maiming or killing. Maybe he's gonna beat you with a stick, but that's about it. Alright, moving on to B tier. These are gonna be the moderately dangerous. The ones that if you stumble upon them, stay cool. But if you do piss them off, it's gonna be a bad day for everyone. Let's see. We're gonna put Bigfoot there. Bigfoot is a gentle giant, but he has thrown near boulder-sized things at people in the stories that I've seen. He could definitely end your day, end your life, in the snap of a finger. But he doesn't really have the disposition to be doing that. From what I've heard anyway. This is all speculation, guys. I am no freaking expert, I just read your stories. Besides that, let's see. We're gonna put skinwalkers in there too. Skinwalkers are dangerous. They're a mix of sort of the trickster of a goat man, but they can also be very predatory. But I don't get a lot of stories of people actually getting physically hurt by them. I've never heard of anyone getting more than just spooked out in the woods by the Skinwalker, but I'm pretty sure they've got the capabilities to bring you down if they need to. Very, very easily so. After that, let's see. I'm gonna go with demons, and we're talking about, you know, just the spiritual, not strictly spiritual, but the demons who possess your home and often take physical shape, just to scare the F out of you. And sometimes they do attack. You hear those stories where people wake up and they're covered in claw marks and other crap like that. That's terrifying, and they do actively attack people, but you don't hear a whole lot of people dying from these things. You might hear the occasional story where it's believed that demons have taken the life of someone, but in my opinion, I don't think mostly spiritual beings like demons have a lot of ability to hurt us that much. I think those that can claw us when we're sleeping, they are a little bit stronger than others, and you're very unlucky if you got one of those in your bedroom. My advice would be to seduce that bastard. Okay, so that's B tier. Things that I don't think we're done here. Let's continue on. We're gonna put Dogman. We're gonna put Dogman in there. Again, the stories I've read and the legends I've heard, Dogman is sort of, he's just looking out for himself. You don't want to stumble upon one because you're gonna get spooked really good, but you really gotta piss off a Dogman, just like Bigfoot, to get him to attack you. Or you gotta spook him to get him to want to do something. He's going to be very scary looking, that's true. But not a lot of attacks take place. The furthest I've seen is dogmen jumping in people's trucks because they got a deer in the back, but I've never heard of one chomping down on a person. That would be a different story. After that, let's see. We do have quite a few deadly ones out here. Let's move on up to A tier. This might not be the bell curve I expected because cryptids, mysterious creatures, the world is dangerous. Nature is very unforgiving. So if these things actually did exist, they're all going to be quite deadly in their own right. So we're going to move on up to A tier. Things that often will not hesitate to attack you and or may actively hunt people. So let's definitely start with the Hellhound, which they're demons of their own class who seem to show up to attack people. Some legends state that they're omens themselves, but I've heard stories from my own cousins who have claimed to have seen dogs with red eyes who have been attacked and nearly eaten by these freaking things. So definitely Hellhound in the A tier. They're dangerous, they're aggressive, they gonna get you. After that, we would have, let's see, Chupacabra. Definitely a dangerous, sharp-toothed creature, but he's too busy sucking on goats to attack people, but he's still deadly. Just think about all those farm animal attacks you've heard of in the news when the Chupacabra craze was going around. I remember being in middle school, I believe, and this crap is all over the news. Any news source you saw, there was something about the Chupacabra killing someone's livestock, but you didn't hear about a whole lot of people attacks, and those that you did hear about, they survived. But I do think if you were one-on-one with a Chupacabra, it's gonna end badly for you. He's gonna get that blood, and you're gonna be out of it. So yeah, definitely a Chupacabra there. I'm gonna put crawlers here too, things that look like the rake, but from the stories that I've read, crawlers, these little pale humanoid things, they sort of stand at a distance. They keep their distance from people, but they do seem to stalk. And I think they're more aggressive than, say, a Dogman or a Bigfoot. They might be curious, but I mean, not a whole lot is known about crawlers. And it may in fact just be a class of things with a similar appearance, but they may be a whole crapload of different things, if that makes sense. A whole crapload of different cryptids under that same category. But for crawlers, the crawlers I've heard about, they don't outright attack people too often. But when they do, it's scary. They've been measured from like 10 feet tall and lanky to maybe the size of a toddler. But no matter what, it's always sharp teeth, it's always an evil aura around them, and I think a crawler coming at you, it's gonna tear you up pretty bad, and they would want to sometimes. Crawlers aren't always curious and keep their distance. Now, a crawler, I think a Bigfoot could definitely whoop a crawler. But again, this list is most deadly, most likely to take your life. Bigfoot, most stories I read, he's scary, but he doesn't want to have much to do with you. He just wants to get you off his property, hippity hoppity. That's what I've heard. So crawler is definitely an A tier. Now, moving on. Let's see. This is tough. I would put Bunyip in S. Bunyips are like vicious, hateful Bigfoots, from what I've read. They want to eat you, I think. I think that's what the legends say, excuse me. They want to chomp down, they want a bite of your Shivardi, and they actively hunt people. This S tier, I would say, is things that stalk people and almost solely people, for whatever reason. The Bunyip, he seems to have a more evil presence to him. And I've heard stories, you tell the kids, you don't stay out too late or the Bunyip will get you. And if there's a monster like that who's actively trying to eat your children, that's S tier. That's easily S tier. Ravenmocker, for sure. It's like the Scarlet Witch of Cryptids, in my opinion. It's got these supernatural powers that if it wanted you dead, yeah, you're so long. Bye, Felicia. The Ravenmocker is daunting, scary, often has a physical appearance, can change shape from what I've seen, not from what I've seen, but can change shape from what I've heard, depending on what it wants to do to you. If it wants to just scare you or haunt you, and there's not a whole lot you can do. Usually it's there because it's time for you to go. And it often is the one that decides or takes that heart from you, takes your remaining few hours for itself to add it on top of its own. So it's evil, it has raw, supernatural power. You're not going to get away from the Ravenmocker. Moving on, let's see. Dragons, easy, like, you're not going to survive a dragon attack. And there's not too many stories of dragons out there, dragon sightings, but they're all from a distance. But I would say that a dragon having a reptilian brain would be aggressive if encountered up close, and something that size would very quickly eat you, destroy you, pulverize you. So dragons easily S tier. Thunderbirds, their whole shtick is coming down and taking people. And I've heard real-life freaking news accounts of this happening. I think they're real. They're one of the easiest cryptids for me to believe in, and I think people have died over the last few centuries pretty commonly to these things. So definitely Thunderbird. They actively hunt people, and they've been very successful in doing so without ever being caught. Werewolves, easily S tier. They're evil, okay? Werewolves are cursed. A lot of people don't understand the difference between a dogman or werewolf, which is very easy to confuse. I'm not a master or a professor at this sort of stuff, but in my opinion, the dogman represents a territorial, maybe a Native American or a part spirit kind of creature who roams the land that it protects. It's land that is either cursed or enchanted, and it just does its thing out there. Not being evil, not necessarily being good because it scares the crap out of people, but the werewolf is a cursed being. It may just be a natural creature, but even in that scenario, whenever you hear of a werewolf in these stories that I read, they always want to chew you. They want to tear your freaking throat out. So yeah, werewolves, S tier. They're gonna try everything they can to eat you. And I can't believe you don't hear more stories of people being attacked by strange dogs, because werewolves and dogmen are some of the most common cryptid sightings I've heard since I was born. Right under Bigfoot, of course. Now, the Wendigo is a tricky one. The Wendigo is the most misunderstood cryptid of this whole list. People claim they look like crawlers. Some people claim they look like the thing with the deer skull. But I personally think... I don't really know. In their behavior, Wendigos are voracious. They want to hunt people, they want to eat people, they are cursed beings. According to Native American legend, they were people who committed cannibalism and therefore were cursed for taking such an act on another person. And they're cursed to always starve, always crave human flesh, and no matter how much they consume, they are never satisfied. So that sounds like something that's definitely S tier, but the problem is, I don't get a lot of near-death encounters submitted to me. No, not a lot of people experience close calls with Wendigos as much as I think they would. You typically get the whole, I saw it out in the distance kind of thing. That could be more realistic, but if it's really the Wendigo from Native American legend, it's going to want to come at you desperately to kill you. In my opinion, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So I think, and I know you're gonna hate me for this, the Wendigo's lackluster ability to actually claim the kills, it's gonna put it in A tier. It wants them peeps, but I just don't see a lot of people getting mortally wounded by Wendigo. But they definitely attack. I've gotten a few stories, don't know if I believe all of them, of people actually being killed by things they claim to be Wendigo. Not the people themselves, if they're dead they can't claim anything, but people who have found others who were possibly killed by Wendigo. But I don't know. I'm iffy on the Wendigo. He could be S or A tier. If I get more stories where people actually die from Wendigo, he's definitely gonna bump up right to S tier. And that's my tier list. It's probably something you vastly disagree with, but I did my best here. This is my opinion. I'm honestly more skeptical than you guys think. I read a bunch of cryptid stories, yeah. That doesn't mean I believe 90% of them. I believe as many as I can. I try to remain skeptic about most. There are a few that I just outright disbelieve, but if I disbelieve it immediately, I usually just don't read it. The stories I do read, I think about. And I can think about them for months, even years at a time before I decide, I believe this, or I don't believe this. But in the end, they're great stories. All these monsters make really harrowing encounter stories. My favorite being the werewolf. We don't get enough movies on that guy. But the movies I have seen of werewolves, they're often the scariest. The only thing that beats the werewolf movies, in my opinion, is The Thing. The Thing, I wish there were encounters with The Thing, but that would obviously be fake, and we'd probably all be dead if something like The Thing existed. He would be double S tier, for sure. Hope you enjoyed my tier list. This was something different and fun. I hope it doesn't spark any arguments. This is just me being dumb and trying to put something together. I was trying to take it... I was trying to be accurate here, but obviously there are going to be some mistakes. I can see some people being like, demons? Dogmen? How are they B tier? But I hope it makes sense. S, they're gonna try to kill you as much as possible and have active kills, they say, according to legend, or according to some sightings. While D, they're your spooky boys, but they're not actually mean boys. Well, I'll catch you guys tomorrow with a new video. I hope you like this one. I'd love to do more documentaries or things about cryptids, but I just don't have a lot of time these days. I really want my schedule to open up so I can stop doing stories on occasion. Stories are my bread and butter, but I like to do documentaries, more animated videos, and anything you guys want me to do on this channel. So if you have any ideas or anything like that, let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, like it, share it, and if you want more cryptid stuff, subscribe. Thank you.